Everyone, and welcome back to Just for Tweens Lego Club. My name is Miss Liz. Today we are going to be creating our very own workable wrecking ball. But before we get started, there are just a few things we must go over. If you registered for this program, you should have received a Lego kit which contains everything you'll need for today's project. I'm going to go over the contents of this kit in just a moment. If you did not register for today's program, that is more than okay. You can, of course, still participate by using any Legos you might have at home. So let's go over what we have inside our kit here. In addition to this Lego kit, you should have also received a Lego base plate. Obviously, we're going to use this as the foundation of our wrecking ball structure. And then I'm just going to point my camera down so we can see what is inside our kit here. So first, you'll see you have a Lego contents sheet. I thought this would be helpful to include, that way you can keep track of all the pieces inside your Lego kit. As a reminder, everything inside your Lego kit, except for the string you see here, needs to be returned back to the library. So first you'll see you have two different pieces of string here. One is slightly longer than the other. Like I said, you don't need to return this string back to the library. You can just toss that string when you're done. You'll see you also have a golf ball with a little hook attached to it. This is what we're going to be using for the actual wrecking ball of our project. You have a Lego brick breaker. Obviously, this is helpful for breaking apart those bricks when it's time to clean up. And then we have lots and lots of Legos. So let's go over the different Legos we'll need for this project. First, you'll see you have a little minifigure. I thought this would just be fun to include. You could put it on top of the tower you'll be knocking down. Then you also have 4 of these 2x12 tiles, which we will be using for the top of our structure. You have 1 2x12 brick, which we'll be using for the foundation of the tower you'll be knocking over with your wrecking ball. You have 8 of these 2x6 pieces. You have 6 of these mini 1x1 pegs. You have 4 of these 2x2 bricks, the standard size of brick. And then you have about 41 of these 2x4 bricks. I did give everyone a few more bricks than necessary. That way you kind of have some room to experiment with different sizes and shapes, which I'll go over in just a moment. So let's go ahead and get started building. So first, obviously, we're going to need our base plate as our foundation. And the first part we're going to work on is the structure that our wrecking ball will be hanging from. So what you're going to want to do first is take 2 of those 2x6 bricks, and you're going to lay them right along the very edge of your base plate, and you're going to want to make sure they're even. So I placed my brick right at the top here, and it's only 4 pegs, 4 notches away from the edge here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our brick. And you're going to want to make sure you do the same on the other end. So leave only 4 notches between your brick and the edge of your base plate. Then you're going to want to do the same exact thing with 2 more of those 2x6 pieces, except you're going to place them parallel to the other 2 you just placed down. And I put 5 notches in between each of these bricks. Next, we're going to take 2 of these 2x4 pieces, and we're going to stick them in between here. But I'm actually going to remove these pieces and put them closer, because I put mine a little too far away. So as you can see here, I have my 2 2x6 pieces on each side here, and then I placed a 2x4 piece on the side. And what we're going to do next is take 2 more 2x4 pieces, put them on the other side here. So we're basically going to just be creating 2 rectangles here. So take 2 more of those 2x4 pieces and stick them on the other side. And then as you can see here, you basically have these two rectangles with a hollow opening in the middle. So next, take two more 2x4 pieces and stick them right in the middle of those rectangles. Now you kind of just have these solid rectangles, and this is what we're going to use as the foundation of our wrecking ball structure. So next we're going to take more of those 2x4 pieces, and we're essentially just building up, starting in the middle. So this is the part where you can get creative. Like I mentioned earlier, you can kind of experiment with different shapes and sizes. So what that means is that the structure I'm building right now does not have to look like the structure you're building at home. So you can make yours as tall as mine, or you can make yours a little bit shorter than mine. It's just up to you and what you want your finished project to look like. My only suggestion is that you do have some height to your structure here, because you obviously will need room for your wrecking ball to hang from and swing. That way it can knock down the tower. You also will need to remember that you need to make sure that both sides of this structure, so both of these towers, are even, because we're going to be connecting them at the top. So like I said, go ahead and make yours as tall or as short as you want. Just make sure there's some room for that wrecking ball to swing. Okay, I think I'm just going to add maybe one more on each side, but I need to make sure they're even. So I'm just going to add one more here. Make sure they're secure to the bottom. Make sure they're even. As you can see here, they're even. So now we're good to go to start working on the top. So next you're going to take those 4 2x12 tiles and place them on the top of your structure, and you're going to put 2 on each top brick there. And they will overlap, so they might look a little weird, but I'm going to show you in a minute what we're going to be doing to secure them. So like I said, put all 4 of those flat pieces on top, and they are even here, but as you can see, there's just a little tiny overlap here. So make sure it's secure. So go ahead and press that down. Make sure they're snapped together. Then we're going to take a few more of those 2x4 pieces, and we're going to stick them on top in the middle. This is going to add some extra weight to the top of the structure, because this is actually the part we're going to be securing our wrecking ball to. All right, so as you can see, I have these flat pieces on top. Then I have 3 of my 2x4 bricks kind of in the middle here, just for some extra support. All right, so next what we're going to do is attach our wrecking ball to the structure. We're going to do that first. That way you kind of know where to place the tower you'll be knocking down. That way you can make sure you have enough room for that wrecking ball to swing. So I already have my string tied here to my little hoop. I just tied a knot around twice on the loop to make sure it is secure. You might need to ask an adult for help if you have trouble tying that knot, but just make sure it is secure. And then you're going to take that other end and wrap it around these 3 bricks here. And like I said, this is kind of the part where you can experiment based on how much leeway you want for your wrecking ball to swing. I just wrapped my string around twice here. So you can tie it on the bottom. I actually used the piece of tape in my example to make sure it was secure. So I'm going to do that again right now. I'm just going to grab a piece of tape. That way I can make sure that the string is secure to these bricks. So if you have some tape at home, you can use that, or you can tie it around the Legos. You can do obviously whatever works best for your project. So I'm just going to place this tape here. That way I know it is attached. All right, so now that my wrecking ball is secure, I can kind of just see how much leeway I have to work with. And when you're releasing your wrecking ball, you don't want to really push it because that's going to add too much weight to this Lego structure. So what I suggest doing is just holding it and then just letting it go forward. And that really has enough power to it to knock down your tower. So because I don't have a lot of leeway in my wrecking ball here, I can see that I can probably add my tower maybe about right here, and that will knock it down. And like I said earlier, this is also a part where you can experiment by adding longer strings. So therefore you can add towers that are further back, and you can kind of experiment with, like I said, longer pieces of string or the distance in between this structure and the tower you'll be knocking down. My only suggestion for that is to start with the 2x12 brick. That way you have a secure foundation. So I'm going to place that right down here, which is only about 6 notches away from this structure. But like I said, you can experiment and use your own creativity and, build whatever works best for your wrecking ball structure. And the tower I'm building right now also does not have to look like the one you're building at home. You can build whatever kind of tower you'd like to knock down. Okay. I am going to add these smaller little pegs on top because I do think it might be easier to knock down if you have something lighter on top. But again, that's just my personal preference. You can really build whatever you'd like. And then just for fun, I'm going to add my little figure on top. And now my tower is built and my structure is ready to go. And now comes the fun part when you're ready to do some damage. So like I said, you can just hold your golf ball back. You don't need to add any power to it by pushing. Just hold it back, release it, and there you go. All right, that is all I have planned for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said earlier in this video, feel free to experiment with different lengths of string, different distance between your two structures, and just have fun with it. If you'd like to take some pictures, you can leave them in the comments below. Make sure you stay tuned next month for a new Just for Tweens Lego video. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye-bye.